An enemy has been slain. Pentakill. Victory.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to Kings of the Rift, your podcast that is kind of talking about competitive League of Legends news and opinions. Definitely something a little different. This is the first time we've done it on like live on video, for sure. Definitely a little different than normal here. So basically, I would like to kind of jump into something here that is very that's actually kind of fun. I saw this on Twitter here. It was actually from I am Germ, one of the guys, great small, small medium, like YouTube creator, who does a lot of different League of Legends news and all that different stuff. Very cool, very nice guy and everything like that. So I was seeing a tweet that he put out, and it was saying, it said, "You are now the GM of TSM. What are you doing before summer split starts?" And he might use the interesting responses for a video. He's not sure yet, though. So I broke into it and I said, he said, I gotta answer. I got some ideas. And honestly, I do. So let me kind of go through, as you guys can see over there. I do definitely have some ideas here. I'll kind of go more into depth about it and kind of just figure that stuff. We'll kind of talk about it for sure. And kind of see why I think TSM should be maybe a little different than just what they are currently. But before we do any of that other stuff, let's see here. I'm going to put this on the screen here, just because why the hell not, right? Let's do this here. Boom. And we're going to take this, put this here, and then we're going to go over to this thing just so we have it up and everything like that. Should have done this before, but let's see here. Insert image, load from computer. And let us put it from here. Nope, it really is in pictures already. Wow, I'm good like that. Apparently, that's huge. Why is that so big? Come on. Why is it so big, man? Perfect. And then we zoom it down. We're gonna put this right here. You know what? Actually, though, all right, perfect. I have actually go up a little. Come on. No margin. Perfect. That's beautiful. Love it. So one of the things I would do. Let's just jump right into it. Honestly. I know that was a little bit of dead air there for the podcast listeners. But what I was doing was I was putting a TSM logo onto our sheet here, onto our Google Docs. We're doing this with the Google Docs. And basically, so what I would like to do is kind of break down what I would like to talk about. And then we'll kind of go more in depth into it, like as we go through this and as we go to the different steps here. So one of the first things I would do is I would do anything in my power to get either Jensen or Jizuke in the mid lane. Honestly, like that is something that, like, for the summer split, that needs. If it was me, up to me, that's what I would do. Jensen has, really been fine in the past, being like a secondary carry, because I definitely think that this team right now, TSM, is very much Huni, and then Spica, and then basically, like right now, that's who should be carrying. Like that's the idea behind them. Like at least I feel like honestly, Huni is one of the ones who wants to really carry. That's why he always ends up picking up his one trick rumble. and he can do that very well. It's very stable for him up there. Spica has been the carry before, and honestly, with a player like Lost right now, who's basically playing that ADC role very, very well, and that kind of old ADC playing, it seems like to me, um, where basically doesn't matter what happens in the game, if the ADC gets fed, the ADC gets, is able to free fire in the game, they're able to carry. Um, but I don't think that's like the primary like early carry, that kind of stuff. But I honestly feel like even if so, let's say you throw Jensen into the mix of TSM right now, he's a very good secondary carry. So depending on whether it's Huni or it's Spica who is the carry there, or even just tactical, he's a very good. He's very kind of a stabilizing role in that team. Like I said, he's here right here. He is a stable laner, so um, he's definitely able to just not really like people don't really shit on Jensen. Really, is what I feel. What they end up doing is they just kind of, you know, like Jensen just kind of loses because his team loses, or he gets just like he doesn't lose hard. He loses gracefully. I feel like when he does lose. So that would be, I think, a very good um, person to put inside of TSM right now, especially with his knowledge and the winningness behind his team. It's just great. Behind him, like basically who he has been before, winning with Cloud9, winning with Team Liquid. I think that's very good for younger players and all this different stuff to have to kind of look up to, even if you are just building, even if that's the only choice and only thing you change is the Jensen, or, and like I'm going to say here, the Jizuke um, difference here. So if you went, if you're thinking, all right, we're going to do things a little different, we are wanting to still play team solo mid. I know it's right now it's TSM. Changed a little and moved away from that team solo mid moniker. Um, you definitely can still go with that though, by kind of going with Jizuke, who he can be reliable, definitely. Like he's going to either win you that game, like hardcore win you that game, or he's just gonna kind of int, and then the team's not gonna do great. Around him is the idea there. He's definitely streaky. He's kind of like they always said it was coin flip. But I definitely think with the players on TSM right now, especially Huni and Spica, I definitely think they can kind of at least a little bit kind of um, take what Jizuke does poorly and kind of be a band-aid for that. At least it seems to me that's what it seems like. Is that could happen? Jizuke being able to be kind of reined in by even the craziness of Huni. Realizing that Huni's gonna go crazy. He's either gonna play his Lucian top or something, or just something kind of crazy, and Jizuke going, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't be going as crazy as I am, but I mean that's possible that it might not happen like that. Um, One of the other things I would do, we're gonna kind of dub this new TSM or something. Um, I'd put out a special TSM Legends video, talking about the issues that happened during the spring split. So, talk about what happened with K2O, talk what happened um, with Shen Yi, talk about how the way that they dealt with it. Now this is me coming in as a GM, just for this, for the summer split here, or in between the summer split or spring and summer split. So, um, you couldn't do too much bashing and all this with the team, but you definitely would say things like this is what we thought was going to happen, and clearly that image wasn't being able to be portrayed. I think honestly, transparency should be key with this new TSM. Um, it honestly, people felt very let down. It's the same thing that really happened um, with Cloud9 when Cloud9 benched um, Jensen, Sneaky, And I forget who else did they bench. Like a couple different, like Karen, I think maybe too. When they randomly had benched them, and it was for I think either not taking their role seriously or something. They weren't taking things seriously, so then they got benched for a little bit, but like no one really said anything, and it was just like, oh yeah, no, they're not going to play this week, and everyone was kind of weird and all this, and it was kind of just strange, like no one really expected it. Um, and then like obviously any things with like when Medios wasn't playing for 100 Thieves anymore, people were like, well, why is that? And nothing really was said, or things were just saying, oh, he's not going to play with the team, all this different stuff. Um, all of that transparency needs to be there for the fans. That is something that fans need to be able to rely back on TSM. One of the things back in the day with TSM was that they were just good, and they didn't have to worry about what was wrong or why we went with this choice or something like that because they were able to show you that. When they got rid of, when Dyrus retired and they said, okay, well, how about Haunter? Let's bring in Haunter. Let's bring, or was it Haunter or was it even Dokla even at some point too? Um, no, I think it was just, they just straight brought Haunter and Doublelift came in and, uh, it was just all this really great, like, great games. It was so nice. Like they just brought people in and it worked and it was no big deal. And I think TSM got a little complacent in that. In the, well, things are going well, so why worry about it necessarily? Like if that makes any sense. Um, not that doesn't make sense from a business perspective. Why worry about like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is basically what they were saying. Why explain it if we don't have to? But I definitely think that is something that going forward, new TSM under my GMship um, would definitely be more transparent. You can be transparent to a point, especially with the whole Peter Zhang stuff going on with the Shenyi, the the whole benching there, the weird little stuff there. You definitely have to figure out what the deal is, like what's actually going on, and kind of explain it to a point, and explain it to the fans, and don't act like they're dumb. They're not dumb. The fans aren't dumb. They know what they want. They know what they want to hear, and it's not something that is just even if they don't want to, even if they can't. That's not even. I don't think that's the right way I wanted to say it. It's not that the fans know what they want to hear. The fans know what they kind of need to hear. They'll understand if you're telling them something the right way and you're telling them something that actually means something and is not just kind of blowing smoke up their ass, then uh, you definitely need to be able to tell them the truth without them kind of just going, I don't believe you. I don't think this is what you're actually saying here. Um, which it sounded like from the different statements that said nothing. Um, the statement for Peter Zhang, the statement um, for Shenyi, there wasn't much. And then like the whole like, oh well, Takeover's playing and Kaido was going to be over here and this and that. Like, okay, but can you explain like what's going on? And I think fans really need that, especially TSM fans. TSM fans have not always been the most like reactive to change. I know for sure I was one of them for quite a different number of years there. Um, was basically that was the first team that I was a big fan of. I believe at one point it was the second LCS team I was a fan of. First was old uh, Dignitas with Skara and with Skara Dominate, like that whole team. That was really good. And I was like, this is awesome. This is like a good team, fun team, all this. And then I saw TSM, and I was like, TSM is pretty great. Like, I like this Dyrus guy. I like this Odd One guy. I like Bjergsen. What's this kid? This kid's great. Um, and just like honestly, Turtle was great. Like, oh, just all of it. This the whole time. It was so good. And basically, like, TSM was like, That's awesome. That's a great team. That's a fun team to watch play. And they're doing great. Look at this. This is awesome. But TSM fans aren't necessarily the greatest when it comes to losing. That's TSM's basically throughout its history has only known winning. And not even just like winning the split and everything, but at least being in finals, being there, like being the next guy up was always the thing. It was always being TSM was always, if not the winner, he was the second place, and that's it. So I think a lot of people are still kind of like they feel shitty. They're like, oh, why are we not number two? Why are we not number one? Like, what's going on here? And I think it kind of, it just gets that whole like, well, I mean, it has to be something else that's going on. Like, it's not us. Like, no, no, Parth's messing it up. No, Lena's messing it up. No, since Karen was the issue. Okay, since Karen's gone. Okay, no, it was Double Lift. Double Lift is the issue. Oh, well, yeah, you know what? I think Bjergsen, he's great, and oh, he's a coach now. That's even better. That's amazing. We're gonna win everything. It's gonna be great. And then it wasn't, and it wasn't like 100%. It was good, um, but just everything kind of just moves, and it's just kind of like that. You accept it. You just go, oh well, I guess I mean, sure, that's wonderful. That's gonna win. It's gonna win something perfect. Is it not? Well, no, it's someone else's problem. It's not TSM. It's this player's problem or it's that player's problem. Like they don't realize that it's kind of all the things together, and I think it has really come to this point now this year, with all the different with uh, Andy being Andy being Reggie, being investigated on the different things with the bullying and all this, and Double Lift coming out and talking about, well, yeah, he made us feel like shit, and other streamer or other players on TSM being like, yeah, no, look what he did. Like, this is horrible. Like, he was bullied, and understandably, like some of the things that he was doing, it's not so much he's being a bully as it is that he was being, he's very like passionate about it, and maybe he was being bullied. Like, it seems like he probably was. But TSM's putting in, their kind of their management and there's everything under scrutiny, and it shouldn't, like I don't think this would be like a talking point necessarily if TSM was winning, and it would be no big deal. And obviously Andy's been getting just memed to death, including myself, with selling your car, selling your house, selling your clothes, all this to not become, CLG. Well, CLG and them, I think, finished, you know, 8 and 9 or whatever. Shit, like that's not good. Um, that doesn't feel good to do that. To be like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what we're not gonna be. And that's what it is. So, I think one of the shining points though for the next or for this new TSM though, has to be definitely Spica. Spica, he like as we know, he just came off of a MVP run last summer, and he was great. Like he played really well. TSM was doing very like decent, very well. Spica was like that was literally the shining star. So you need to double down on Spica. Basically, like Spica, what do you want? Like you are the face of new TSM. Like what is going on? How do we get you to stay? I think Spica's that one holdover who had played with you know, played at least kind of alongside the old guard and kind of bringing him in and everything. He was the one who took the job from Greg, the one who took the job from Acadian. Like he was that next man up, and when he came up, he was, yeah. Look at this guy. He's a great. Look at him. He's amazing. He's like when Contracts was popping off for Cloud9, and oh my God, Contracts is amazing. Look at this, is great. And then it would do the next, then he just kind of fell off. And oh look, Arrow's amazing, and Arrow, he okay, he fell off. Oh well, what about this? What about that? And Spica's been the one who's been kind of consistent through it all. Um, the split, I don't know what it is with Spica, if he's just feeling down or he's feeling weird. Um, with the team now, like because he's not with that old guard, not even with the old guard, I guess. He's not necessarily with, I don't know if it's complacency. I really don't know. But Spica needs to kind of get his, like, frankly, get his head out of his ass, and he knows he can do better. Um, he's played in different kinds of, sorry about the sniffle there. He's played in different kinds of metas and everything like that. So it's not, oh well, that meta, the meta just doesn't fit him anymore. Like he's played in different metas and he's made it work. And there's been games in the summer or in the spring split here, in 2022 where it just works and it just actually does good. And he does well, and that's fantastic. Like I'd love to see that. Um, but I just don't know. I think they need to double down on him, kind of figure out like what's going on. What can we do for you? How can we make it so that you stay with us and that we can actually keep you and just do fantastic? So one of the things also I would do, and this might be something it too, like this might be it, is like the idea behind everything, um, is I would remove or lessen the solo queue playtime requirements and replace them with champions queue. There's been this like weird little kind of like rumor, meme going around, I guess you could say, about players on like TSM and different kinds of teams not playing champions queue because they have to meet certain solo queue requirements from the teams. Why not replace those with Champions Queue? Champions Queue is definitely just a better training environment, and it's a better facsimile to pro games. Meaning that it's basically it's close. It's the closest thing um, to pro games that these players have, other than like scrims or actual pro games. And honestly, being able to be in Champions Queue where there's not trolls, where there's not, um, people, uh, you know, there's not toxic people, all this different stuff. Like you're able to actually learn the game, play the game, and not have to worry about shit. There's gonna be a disco Nunu in my lane, just running it down every time he dies because he just doesn't like me or he's target inting me and all this different stuff. Like I've heard so many people, so many pros complain, oh well, they're target, inting me because they see that it's me. Well, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just bad, or maybe they're just inters and they just suck. They're just bad people. Like that could happen too. Um, and sometimes they do get target banned as well as target inted, and that's not good, at all. But you don't have that in Champions Queue, so why play? This is my thought. Why your players? So like let's go soccer, or football as they say, um, and you're playing soccer, and you're on a professional team. Would you rather have your players playing just random pickup games with friends, and just random people on the street, and just playing soccer like that? Kind of like there's like some rules, but nothing's really enforced. Just kind of hanging, just playing kicking the ball around, but you're playing like a game. You're playing for points. Um, or would you rather that player be kind of learning and teaching others, through like an actual like league or something like that, like a small or smaller league where you're, not a pro league obviously, but like some kind of semi-pro league or something like that where you can actually kind of, um, where you can at least have that structure, and there's referees and there's this and there's that kind of keep those roles and those rules in place. Wouldn't you want your team and your player, the star player here, wouldn't you want them doing the best play that they could be at this point, or would you want them to just kind of like just play these random pickup games, which are the pickup games that, I mean, that's basically what solo queue is versus um the type of semi-pro league or or structured league of Champions Queue. Um, I definitely think that's something that they should really consider, even right now, even without me being GM. I definitely think that's something that a lot of teams need to realize is that Champions Queue is here and it's probably going to be here to stay. And the only way to ensure it being here to stay is to actually make your players play the game. To let your players play the game. Let your players play Champions Queue. And honestly, why doesn't everybody just stream Champions Queue? Um, People want to hear it. People want to watch. People want to play. So why not do that? It's sure it's similar to scrims, but it's less. It's obviously sitting between regular ass solo queue, which is like no stakes other than ranked, um, and sitting in between that and scrims, and that's fantastic. Like that's people want to watch scrims, but you're not gonna watch. Scrims are so like regimented and like you have to like make sure don't give up our picks, all this different stuff like that. That I understand for sure. But Champions Queue, there's no reason why you can't really. Um and then obviously my last point here that I have is something just a little different. I would say you need to pick up Ignar or Zazel as a support. I know this kind of I should have probably talked about this back when we were talking about picking up Jensen or Jizuke. Honestly, Ignar was great when he was playing on FlyQuest and all that. He was even before that, I believe, on Evil Geniuses. Um, Maybe flip that. I think flip it. Ignar was on Evil Geniuses most recently, I believe, than the other one. But we'll see. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But the point is still there. Ignar is a very good um, great support, honestly, and support who could just be a storied support here in the LCS and not have to worry about being kind of um, stymied by a player who you're not really sure in, like Shenny. And I know a lot of people will be out there, and already who have been out there on my on my Twitter here, just kind of, oh well, I don't think Shenny needs to be stopped. He's great. I mean, there's no reason for the communication and all this to be an issue. Because what I'm saying is I think jungle and support communication needs to be changed. It needs to be clearer. Um, like one word answers, this kind of stuff shouldn't really necessarily be what we're looking for. Like that's not the, oh well, I mean, yeah, no, it should be like tap, like, and that's all I should know. Like, no, there should be a little bit of conversation and like, sure, does Suika know how to speak Mandarin? Yeah, yeah, like he does, and he's speaking to Shani in Mandarin, and that's fine. But then what about the other team? Like, I mean, or what about the rest of the team? Speaker can sure translate and stuff like that. But that adds a different layer to different things where you're not focusing on who you are and like what game you're playing. Where you're focusing more on things like translating. Okay, Shenyi said go top. We're gonna push in the wave and dive Renekton. All right, okay, so my brain's going and I'm thinking, all right, go top, dive Renekton, push wave. Like you could even say it wrong, you could say it right. However, um, but that extra bit of time that it takes to really change it over like that, to kind of change to not even change, but to translate that, is just honestly, it just causes me this, kind of be like, is that is that ideal? Is that what we want right now? Is that where we're going with this? Um, because honestly, like it should be a clear transition of, hey, we're doing this. Everybody, you hear that, right? You hear that I'm going top. Okay, bot lane, you need to be careful. This and that. Like it shouldn't have to go through someone else to understand it. And I know LS has said before, that basically, well, League of Legends at the highest tier should be, you shouldn't need comms. You're right, like you shouldn't. But we're in NA, where people are bad, players are bad, and we need to talk. People need to talk. People need to know what they do. People need to know or have that little bit of like coaching, let's say, to be like, hey, we're doing this, or this is what we're going, this is what we're doing. Be careful. Hey, you can push this wave. You can do it. Yep, yep. Go in, go in, go in, go in, or something like that. So honestly, something like that, and having, someone who speaks English a little better, I guess, or at all too. I don't know if Shenyi speaks much English at all. I've heard a little bit of Shenyi on Champions Queue and everything like that. He can talk some English, but nothing that's kind of conversational. Oh, tap 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 tap. Oh, double lift. Big fan. All this different stuff. But unfortunately, it's not. That's not conversational enough to be able to use, uh, you know, to kind of understand everything. Um, And I mean, we'll do more of these. I think honestly that could be for me for TSM. That's it, I think. Um, but to kind of go a little bit into like what's gonna happen here, what this whole Armchair GM thing is going to be. Um, to me, it feels like it's going to be something that I do, um, you know, every once in a while. Take a look at a team. What is this team doing wrong? What is this team doing right? How do we make it better? How do we make it so that this team just kicks ass? Or how do we make it so that we take this team and kind of revitalize it? The next team would be something like FlyQuest, or a team like um, so a team like FlyQuest, a team like maybe CLG. CLG is kind of like they've revitalized like at least who they are, like what kind of team they are, which is nice. Um, But, I'd love to kind of go through those lists and kind of just see who the next team we should really, talk about. If you guys are interested, definitely leave me some discussion in the comments. I definitely would like to see kind of like who you're really thinking is going to be like the next team that we really should do, because I have a couple ideas, um, but nothing's really set in stone right now. So, different kinds of way I could kind of, if I was the GM, if someone died and made me GM of, say, Team Liquid or 100 Thieves or Evil Geniuses or whatever, this is what I would do. This is how I would implement things, why I would implement things, and how do we make this work going forward. Um, I think the new TSM here really should be someone who is, um, like they're playing very strong, through mid jungle, or mid top even. They should be the pair that does well. Spica should be able to go with the mid laner being, let's say, Jensen. Should be able to go to mid, get that kill. Maybe he's playing carry champions. Maybe he's playing the Viego. He's playing, um, let's say, Lilia, or something like a little bit more like, the carry type champions, the Nidalees, all this where you just easily just take over a game and just completely just trash the teams, like a blabber type game, gameplay. Um, and just be able to, like, have the other laners kind of supplement him in this game. So I definitely would see I would love to see how this kind of goes. If you guys like what I'm talking about, what this is, drop a like in the, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. If you guys are watching or listening anywhere else, definitely take a look at my different socials, be it Twitter, be it YouTube, my Twitch, all this different stuff. At most places, I am at Gold Knight GG. That's my Twitter. You can look me up on YouTube that way. Um, and then also on uh, Twitch, I am at Gold Knight GG. So, um, if you guys are interested, definitely drop a follow, drop a like, drop a subscription, all this different stuff wherever you are. Follow the podcast if you guys are on the podcast realm, and I think we're gonna have a good time. We're back into it. We're back doing stuff. Two birds, one stone, talking about NA, doing a video, doing a podcast. Oh, all this stuff. Hopefully, we can get more into this. You know, Team Liquid got first. I love it. You guys, if you've watched Kings of the Rift or listened to Kings of the Rift in the past, I'm a Team Liquid fan. Love to see that Team Liquid was able to get first. Off the back of a little bit of interesting things. Maybe we'll talk more about that in the next episode or anything like that. We'll kind of see how it kind of goes. But honestly, I think that's gonna do it for me, guys. If you enjoyed all that stuff I said before, and consider maybe even some monetary subscriptions or something on Anchor, all this different stuff. And just hit me up. All right, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you in the next video, the next stream, the next podcast. I won't see you in the podcast, but I'll hear you in the podcast. If you want to send in a video, or a little submission thing where they have the ask type stuff like that, you can do that too. I'll do that if you want. All this different stuff. If you guys enjoyed all that stuff, I will see you in the next episode. Peace out.